Alright, so if you're watching this video, you probably already know the whole situation going on with XXX Tentacle Tentacion. That's how you pronounce it. XXXTentacion. And you know, the whole situation is super horrible. And I think a lot of people would compare it to a Chris Brown situation, even though it's insanely more intense than the Chris Brown situation, but it kind of falls into the same category of domestic abuse. And why I say that is because what interests me about this situation the most is how people will react to it. Because in the long run of things, I think in the end of the whole Chris Brown situation, you can say, like, there were more people that had his back in the situation, you know what I mean? Like, maybe in the time of the whole media thing going down, it seemed like everyone hated Chris Brown and the whole world was against him, but in the long run of things, I mean, look where he's at now. He's still one of the biggest names in music, and it's not like he's just like done, like his career's ended. It's like his name and his fan base was so powerful that he was able to stick around through that. And although this situation with X is way more serious and way more insane, it's kind of like a very interesting situation because you're kind of, I mean, his fan base has grown so quickly and gotten so big in such a small period of time. That's like, what's gonna happen? You know, is the whole world gonna, you know, turn on him, or is this just gonna be another Chris Brown situation? And I think, well, at least in my presence on social media, I've just seen a shit ton of hate for him after this whole situation's gone down, and the case hasn't even happened yet. So, you know, I'm not saying he is guilty, I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying that, like, once this article, the Pitchfork article came out, most people were like, oh, fuck this guy. But, anyway, the only reason why I really wanted to make this video after a couple days, after it kind of settled a little bit, was because he just released his music video for Look at Me, and I thought it was really interesting. When I clicked on it, like, I think it just came out today, and when I clicked on it, I was expecting to see, like, a shit ton of dislikes, you know, a bunch of comments talking about how, you know, the whole case itself, but the like to dislike ratio is pretty fucking, you know, it's steady for someone who, you know, is being talked about so much. And I didn't see any of the top comments having to do with, like, anything about the case, anything about his ex-girlfriend, anything about it. There's none of the top comments. So it's like, you know, although, you know, this is such a small, like, example to put out there, like, oh, who cares if, you know, none of the top comments are about the situation. But in most cases, you would see that. You would see a bunch of dislikes. You would see all the top comments on a YouTube video having to do with the situation, and there aren't any. So it's like, is this just fans ignoring that? Or is it not that well known of a widespread situation yet? Was that article not as big as I thought it was? Would, you know, maybe there would have been top comments and a bigger dislike to like ratio had the case actually happened, you know, and maybe afterwards, if he was to release a video and he was found guilty of it all, then maybe it would be a different scenario. But I just think it's very interesting how, you know, even though this video just came out, there isn't like a backlash at all. It's still like the same as it would have been last week before the whole article dropped. So I know it's kind of a weird theory on it all, weird kind of thinking, but I'm just more curious to see how it all plays out, and you know, with his fan base. And it is such a crazy situation, you know what I mean? If he's found guilty of this, then it'll be really fucking nuts if we have another Chris Brown situation with that. You know, if nothing happens to his career, you know. So those are just my quick thoughts. I don't know. I'm just really curious to see how it plays out next month. I think it's the case. I think it all goes down next month. So yeah, we'll see what happens.